Hello, everyone. This is Roland Kim, your Vancouver Realtor Specialist. We help serve clients from Squamish to Chilliwack, and we are here to help you in 2024. What I wanted to talk to you today was summarizing December 2023, just finishing yesterday. And as I'm recording this, it's January 1st, 2024. So I'm wishing you all a happy New Year's. The year ahead hopefully is wonderful for you and we all reach our goals. So again, we can help you with real estate from Squamish to Chilliwack with myself and my team. And then across Canada, we have referral partners in our Canada-wide Real Estate Guy network. So if there's anyone you know that you care for from coast to coast that is in need of a great realtor, start with myself and I can get you connected. Regarding the Vancouver real estate market, as when I was starting these slides, let me see here on December 29th. As of December 29th, there were 1,345 transactions that had gotten firm in the Metro Vancouver area in our real estate board. That is about 47 transactions per day. If I estimated that over the month of December, and of course, December's final numbers haven't been released by the board yet, but my calculations and estimations are usually really spot on. And so I estimate around 1,447 transactions will have occurred in December of 2023, last month, which will be about a 10 to 12% increase versus the December from 2022. And so that is showing us the trend that we've been seeing here. You can see that early last year, we had lower transactional sales versus the 2022 year over year. And then around June, it flipped. Around May, it flipped where we were starting to see more sales happen last year. Still a very lower transactional market versus previous years. But all in all, we finished December with about 12% more transactions based on my estimations in the Greater Vancouver real estate market. Now, when I calculate that estimation and I combine all the previous months for 2023 transactional volume, I'm estimating around 26,000 transactions. 26,327 is my estimation. Give it, 100 up or 100 down could kind of be the calculation once the Vancouver Real Estate Board releases December's numbers. All in all, that's about a 10% decrease in year-over-year transactional volume versus 2022, simply because the beginning of 2022 was outrageously busy and then it peaked in May, really slowed down. Where last year, we had a really slow start here in the beginning of 2023, and then it kind of picked up a bit and it's been modestly busy. You'll see with transactions around 26,000 in 2023 makes it in the last 6 years makes it the fourth slowest year, in line with transactional volume of 2019 and 2018, but significantly off the high of 2021. But I do believe it is going to be a busy 2024 ahead. We can talk a little bit about that. When we're looking in the Metro Vancouver area, this graph is showing you the detached home prices. So this is the graph from, let me go back. This is the graph that's covering year over year, covers, since December 2022. And it's showing that the price for a detached home has increased in Metro Vancouver from $1,824,300 to $1,982,600. Listings, which is the gray line, active listings, are a little bit higher than they were a year ago. Sales, again, it's been a pretty modest, monthly transactional volume over the last few months here, staying steady and sideways, as you can see in the detached market for volume. Now we're looking at the condo market in Metro Vancouver. So you can see that year over year, the price for condos in Metro Vancouver, again, this is the average benchmark price for condos, was around 711,000 to now 762 for the average condo. The active listings a year ago was just over 3,200. We finished, this is November, of course, numbers around 4,500, and the sales have been pretty steady for the last quarter. And townhouses, same story. Year over year, it's a higher price, but the sales have been pretty steady in this maturing landscape of like peaked interest rates. Sales have been happening, but they certainly weren't speeding up towards the end of the year. Now, this is maybe a better illustration of your HPI benchmark price. This covers from 2006 to 2023. So the top green line is the detached market, then you have the orange, the townhouse, and below is the condo market. I mean, it's pretty incredible where the prices have gotten since when you look at when I started in 2008, 2009. There was a far closer relation between detached prices and condo prices. In fact, I remember working with a client when I just got into the business. Actually, it wasn't a client then, it was a friend. And they had, they had just completed on a pre-sale for a downtown Yaletown condo. And I remember that the price difference between the condo and the detached was not that great. And I asked them, why didn't you buy a house? And they said, well, whenever I'm ready to buy a house, I'll add 150,000, 200,000 to my budget and buy a house. And interestingly enough, from that point forward, so my entire career, the detached market continues to separate itself by a greater percentage from the attached market, other than here in 2019, 2020. Now, the reason for this is the continuing story about land scarcity. So don't know the exact number, but I'd say in Vancouver, maybe there's around 90,000 detached lots. You were probably pulling down anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500 detached lots a year, houses, to build densified townhouses and condos. And so clearly what's happening over my career here in the last 15 years is the market is starting to recognize the scarcity of land in the detached market, and those are continuing to separate themselves based on the land versus the attached market, which is continuing to go up, the condo and townhouse. But this graph really illustrates how, in less than 2 decades, the divide between detached land and attached land has dramatically grown. And that's something that I don't think is going to change. I think we're going to go on another big separation here in the next decade as land scarcity continues to be a real story. So that what we have here is the blended average price. So the previous graph here shows the 3 different categories of average benchmark price, which is the detached, the condo, and the townhouse. This is the blended price, as if there's such a thing as a product that's just all 3 categories blended into one. But again, it does show you, the trend and the price fluctuation over the last year since 2012. Now, the average price per square foot is illustrated here. You can see that the top line is the condo market. So although houses, of course, cost a lot more because there's a lot more square footage, makes sense. Your average price per square foot is lower. It's interesting that, condos, the average price per square foot is the highest, and that the townhouses is below the detached market, other than a little bit of a period of time in 2022. I foresee that will change in the next decade. The townhouse price per square foot will probably go up above the detached per square foot. All right, so what we see here again is that median price per square foot. It blends all 3 different categories, and it shows you on a long term since 2005 the price escalation per square foot. So when I started in the business around 2008, 2009, we're just slightly over $300 a square foot, and wow, on an average price per square foot, we're nearly triple that. We're at $850 currently, which was a 8.7% increase year over year for November. Total inventory, this is another long-term graph that shows you long-term inventory from 2005 to 2023. What you really get to visualize here is coming out of the market collapse in 2009. Inventory went down and then really went up, and has those following 5 years coming out of 2009, the stock collapse was the highest level of inventory ever in my career, and certainly here when we're looking at the graph since 2005, it was the highest level. Has kind of come down into the area we've been for the last since 2016, I'd say inventory is probably between 10 and 11,000 units for this period of this time of year is I'd say the average. Notable is in November of this year was a 6% increase in inventory versus November of 2022. Sales to active ratio is a very nice illustration here that again shows you for the majority of the Vancouver market since 2020, and certainly has illustrated that the majority of almost my career. It's almost always been in a seller's market. There's a brief period of time here where we're in a balanced market, slight touches of a buyer's market, but never an established buyer's market. And this is projecting to be the longest trending balanced market here. I think we're going to see a lot more sales in 2024, but also the reality of interest rates being where they are, and they are going to come down, but they're not going to come down quickly. I think home buyers are at their max. Like, they certainly have a need and they have a budget, but they can't deviate from that budget dramatically. And so I don't foresee this large in the past price escalation that we've seen after we come out of a dip. And I think we'll probably be trending, the longest balanced market here, certainly in this near term graph will illustrate. We'll know that 1 year from now, but I believe that's where we're going into a far more, healthy, balanced, expensive, mature market. Housing starts are trending higher year over year. We are increasing the number of housing starts, but one thing that this illustration doesn't show you is the housing starts have been, have started or been approved, but then a lot of these projects were put on hold, or even some were canceled and resold at higher prices, a couple years later. And so we have a lot of units that were supposed to be on the market in 2023, coming on in 2024, that are 2, 3, 4 years behind. And so the market is actually a lot more tight on inventory than this graph would illustrate with monthly housing starts. On a positive note, the Vancouver area has seen year over year, an increase in housing starts. So we're starting to see hopefully a trend here that is maintained, that we can, dramatically, at least increase substantially, hopefully, the number of units starting in the Metro Vancouver area year over year, which is, the only thing that's going to help the market balance itself a bit more is inventory coming on the market. For over all my career, we've tried to control the prices by focusing on demand versus supply. And demand, it's a lost story. We have so much demand that the supply is the only way that we can help kind of take pressure off. And there are some signs here in the last year that the provincial government has certainly brought in a lot of initiatives to get supply online. And that is, in my opinion, the only way we could, kind of try and level off these prices a bit for the next foreseeable couple of years to catch our breath. Talking about mortgage rates here, it's talking about your average illustrating your average 5-year fixed mortgage from 2000 to 2023 and beyond, projecting that a fixed 5-year mortgage will be around the 4.3 to 5.35 range. I know we remember these amazing times where in 2021 and 2020 where it felt like the money was practically free, and that, I think, is a very short-lived time that we'll always see and look back on. But when you see where we're trending to in 2024 and beyond, it is going to be certainly lower than 2023 and the highs, but it's projected not to come down where it was, that's for sure. So people have to navigate in this new landscape of medium priced interest rates and make that work. All that being said, we're certainly seeing that bond yields are coming off. They're tipping over, which is indicating, in combination to what's happening with inflation, that there's no sign of any higher interest rates anymore. And rather, we're going to see interest rate decreases in 2024. This is a mortgage rate forecast, kind of shows you, variable projected 5-year qualifying and 5-year average discounted rate, where they're feeling that rates will be reduced. I actually have a more aggressive point of view. I think interest rates will come down quicker and more aggressively than this. But certainly all people that I follow are showing that we've peaked in interest rates height, and rates will be coming down in 2024. That being said, inflation has a huge impact on that. November inflation held steady at 3.1% as well. We are trending in the right direction. I definitely see people pulling back on their spending. I have clients who had plans of renovating or doing things, and they have put that all on hold. So I'm seeing some real reset and budgeting and realizations that the money doesn't go as far as it has in the past, and the borrowing power isn't there. And so, these high inflationary periods are gone. And trend is that we're getting closer and closer to that 2% area in 2024 that the government really wants us to be at. The story that I think is, the big tipping point that's, going to sadly push the prices up more than I thought they would, if you had asked me a couple of years ago, was the net immigration. Is just it's huge. Where the last few years here, you can see the trend of net immigration into Canada. These are quarterly spikes that you can see. So if you add those up, you get some, amazingly large numbers of new people moving to Canada. I'm a pro fan of immigration. I immigrated in 1986 with my family, which I'm so glad that I got to move to Canada. All that being said, though, I think we've kind of opened up the floodgates uncontrollably in a way, and we don't now clearly understand how this is going to impact our housing situation. I'm not sure if it's fair to Canadians or the people immigrating here, because I think they have a misunderstanding of the housing environment that they're moving into, regardless of where they land in Canada and where they choose to settle. But immigration, the reality is I don't control that. I have real concerns about the level of immigration that we are taking on right now, and the pressure this will continue to put on the housing situation. So all in all, again, BC and Canada's population is ever increasing. It's at all-time highs. The next Bank of Canada rate announcement in January 2024, it's expected to hold. Interest rates are expected to go down in mid-2024, certainly by third quarter. I think it'll be definitely by mid. It could even be late first quarter based on what I'm starting to see. And we find ourselves, in a more balanced market, where I think we'll probably have 10% more transactions in 2024 in the Vancouver metro area than we did in 2023. But we're not going to take off. Like in my career of 15 plus years or 15-ish years, this is probably the third or fourth kind of bounce swing up from a reset, from a pullback. But this is the first one where I don't believe that we're gonna like spike up into multiple offers and into a really hot market. I think we're gonna move into a more steady, mature market for a lot of reasons that I just covered. There's less product that has hit the market. There's been project delays. There's been cancellations. But all that being said, the demand continues to be so strong. When a buyer is able to make the numbers work, they have a need. They want to fulfill that upgrade to the next housing need that they have. All in all, what I think we're going to see in 2024 is a 3 to 6% price increase, probably a 10% volume increase. And in that case, if you are a buyer, although it does not feel like a buyer's market, and it's certainly not a buyer's market, but I believe now is the low point of this next housing growth cycle. And I am always just a phone call, a message, an email away to help you. Everyone's real estate needs is independent, is different from your neighbor. And so this was more of a macro overview of what happened in December and finishing the year of 2023. And I would love to talk to you about your specific situation and how I might be able to help you. Have yourself a wonderful day.